Alright, check that out. So there's my neck pocket, and as we roll over, you can see the sort of cutaway that I did to allow me to put screws in the back and yet still maintain sort of a reasonable telly shape. So I'm going to have a bit of filing to do. I've decided to use some actual wood and not the high density fiberboard to skin this thing, just because. So anyway, right now I'm sanding and getting all the rough edges out from the router. You can see one little router slip right there. Just a little divot. I'll probably put some wood filler in there and when I go over and sand it again, just to make it look sweet. Alright, so we're all set here. I decided to go with the fiberboard anyway, just out of convenience. And I've got this thing covered in glue, and now we just flip it over onto the board, put something heavy on it, let it dry, and then I can mount. This is the front here, and then once it's dry I can use the router to trim this off, and then I can mount my pickup in the center. Not my pickup, my bridge. I could put a pickup in it if I wanted, I suppose. So just, whoops, I was going to say reasonably near the edge, but not overlapping it like I did. So let's get that out of the way. I'll go find something heavy and see this thing, I guess, tomorrow. This is now permanently married to that chunk of wood, if you want to call it that. And it's time to cut this thing free, do the router business around it, and then I have to find a piece of, well, then I'll drill the holes for where the bridge needs to go, because I know exactly how far away they need to be. I have the old 2x4. Once I have 4 holes, I'll glue something on the back, just a piece of pine or something light, so that the screws have something to sink into, and it will resist bowing the body somewhat. And then we can flip it and glue it again. And then we got ourselves, well, something that'll need some varnish or something, I don't know. But, nearly done. Well, that was easy. My concern is that this thing is going to have absolutely no tonal quality, but whatever. As long as it sounds like something. As long as it sounds like a 2x4, it'll be fine. Alright, so this thing's starting to come together. I'm using a little bit of purple thread through the bridge to make sure that... Alright, that was fun. Batteries died. So what I have now is the bridge placement figured out. Drilled the holes, but of course this stuff is super thin. So I've got a little block of wood that I'm going to glue in behind it. And I'm also going to cut myself, you can see that, a little angled shim, because when I calculated my depth, I forgot that I was gluing this 1/8 of an inch thick, or is it, yeah, 1/8, material on it. So now the neck sits pretty low, like it's just like half of the fingerboard that extends above the surface here. So nice water blister in that material. What do you think? So anyway, what I'm going to do is angle the neck just slightly, but just enough so that the bridge doesn't have to be like pressed completely flat against the deck. I wanted there to be a little bit of action over the body. And what I'm going to do now, whoops, get down there, buddy, is glue my wood block in, and then when we're done we'll screw the bridge in, and then we can glue the new back layer onto it, drill for the neck pocket holes, and then we are assembly. And I'll probably give it some stain. Why not? The exposed part that can take stain, that is. So we are almost done. Okay, all set. Got my little block bridge thing glued in there. You'll notice I had to glue a piece to the piece that I glued to the piece, because the 2x4 chunk that I decided to use was just not thick enough. This is not actually 2. inches. That would have been handy. Anyway, glued, ready. I'm going to flip it, clamp it to the board, and yeah, I already got my bridge attached. Then we drill for the neck, and we are done. Alright, this guy's all ready to go. And I made my little shim thing. I think this is like 2 degrees or 1.5 or something like that. Problem is that is way too sharp for this type of guitar, because by the time the strings come over the neck and go over the bridge, they're like that high over the bridge. So I'd have to put wood under the bridge. I'm not doing that. So I just thought, well, why don't I just cut another piece of this stuff? So here's my little thing I cut out. It's got the right angles on the sides, and all I got to do is cut off the W routing Strat neck part at the top, which I traced off that other pickguard. So as soon as I have this thing set, I got to trim it and then glue it down into the neck pocket here. Then we're laughing. Then we just assemble and we're done.